Today marks 30 years since historic flooding collapsed portions of the Walnut Bridge in Harrisburg. Fox 43's Grant Carlton takes a look back at the flood and how emergency officials say the region is better prepared today.
Just days after Central PA was digging out from the blizzard of 1996, a rapid warm-up and heavy rain turned historic snowfall into historic flooding.
Total with my home and the long level marina, I probably took $1 million in damage.
The Susquehanna River and its tributaries rose quickly. Ice jams made flooding sudden and unpredictable. And for many communities, it was the worst they'd seen since Hurricane Agnes in 1972.
I've cried enough tears to cause another flood, I think.
In Harrisburg, the power of floodwaters and ice flow proved too much for one iconic structure.
The swollen river rushes through the gap in the Walnut Street walking bridge. The water and ice.
On January 20th, 1996, multiple portions of the Walnut Street Bridge were lifted off their supports and swept into the Susquehanna River.
The Walnut Street Bridge collapse is literally related to the force of ice building up underneath and against the bridge and its pier, and that's what pushed it down.
30 years later, emergency officials say they're better prepared for flooding like this today.
I think there's less siloing of information, local to federal, local to state. I think there's just more communication all the way around, and that just makes for a better response.
Emergency managers say forecasting, communication between responders, and available resources have all improved, giving communities more time and more tools when flooding threatens.
But one thing that we advocate in CERT is that you as a resident might be on your own for a little while. That's just the reality, is that there are only so many first responders, and so a lot of times help is not just around the corner, so we encourage self-sufficiency.
Ted says the biggest takeaway from events like the '96 flood is preparation at home. Having a plan, basic emergency supplies, and knowing where you're going to receive reliable information can make a critical difference when flooding threatens.